I think the first thing we need to do when anger arises is to basically profoundly go back to our breath and breathe in mindfully. Anger, in an analogy form, it's sort of like a storm. There are symptoms. You feel the anger is coming up, from the bottom of our consciousness. So when that storm is actually breaking out, we actually, intuitively feel it. The signs of the storm. So we have to prepare for that. And initially, to be able to endure or deal with the anger. So when anger arises, it takes about 2 to 3 seconds. So during those seconds, we have enough time to actually be able to go back to our breathing and breathe in, and instead of focusing our mind on anger, we focus our mind on breathing. Ultimately, we are not even afraid of our anger, because we already know inherently how to deal with our anger by just breathing in and like I said, focusing our attention directly on our breath. With doing this, we bring our mind home to our actual bodies, and we do that mindfully.
Well, I can tell you how I used to respond, and it was almost this color of red and this inflammatory, hot sensation that was almost addictive, actually.
When I was so angry and I was even violent, it would overcome so much, I would feel a lot, but something in my mind would shut off, and I'd just be in anger mode.
My voice changes. I get this
Yeah, that's real. Yeah.
Strong New York accent, some type, I just get hyped real quick, and I feel like I like.
Do you space out sometimes? Say you space out as in respond to it right away, rather than stopping and being hold on, it's not about to upset me, let me just breathe real quick and let it pass.
How about look at it as me trying to ollie over a fucking, an obstacle, I'm trying to tackle that obstacle, so it's I'm gonna take my breath, I'm gonna take my breath, I'm gonna calm down, yo, you got this, it's all about a mindset. You manifest stuff into existence, so it's if you telling yourself, oh, I can't ollie over this fucking 2-foot little step, it's you telling yourself that, so you're not gonna do it. But if you manifest into existence, you're gonna do it, so it's this obstacle of anger, I know there's a way around it, so it's I'm gonna try my best, to put myself in the mind frame, you can do this,
I leave, she say something, I already done tore shit up in there, so I grab a rock, bust out the window.
Do you think after when you do experience that anger, then later are you
fuck yeah, of course, because you're in a different state of mind after that. Calm down, your adrenaline is died down, your energy's different, so you have time to reflect on what just happened.
Those experiences like that are your insight to knowing how to deal with it
definitely.
The next time, because you're okay, this is how I handled it the last time.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what has cultivated you.
Because it's got me in trouble.
Yeah.
It was kind of interesting, and it felt like this righteous, powerful experience, and righteous in this meaning that I had the right to feel this way. However, I realized, I'm getting older and wiser, hopefully, that it was so destructive to me and to my body. In traditional Chinese medicine, they say that anger lives in the liver, and that causes a lot of inflammation in the body. So knowing that as an integrative doctor, do I want to keep that in my body? And if inflammation and a decreased immune system is the basis of all illness, why on earth would I want to keep that and hold that? So I was recently down in Costa Rica, and I had a healing session with a medicine woman from Spain, Christina, and she was doing, her body work, and I asked her, did you pick up anything? And she looked at me and she said, you need to transform your anger. And in the moment, I didn't even feel it. I was carrying that, but I believed her. She had been practicing forever, and I knew she was intuitive. But I didn't really understand what that meant, transform your anger. I knew how to deny it, I knew how to suppress it, I knew how to feel it, but I didn't know what to transform it meant. And I think what she meant was alchemizing it. And since anger lives in the belly or in the liver, close to the stomach, which is actually the transformer of food into energy, there is fire that lives there. And so the next anatomical space going up is actually the heart, the place of compassion. So how do you get from anger to compassion? And I think for most of us, we're not taught how to do that. We kind of sit on it, but it's energy, so it has to go somewhere. So it festers, and it goes into the cells and tissues and becomes pathology, if you will. And when we try to come from this place of compassion and love, it's actually forced. It's inauthentic. So when I got home from Costa Rica, I was researching on what do you mean transform your anger? And I actually came across Thich Nhat Hanh's work, the Buddhist monk, and he had this analogy of treating anger like you treat a baby. So if the baby's hungry, you don't squish it and tell it to go away. You actually hold the baby. What do you need? What do you want? You nurse it, you feed it. You rock the baby until the baby is pacified. And I never thought about holding anger with such compassion and love and curiosity ever. And so instead of denying that emotion or labeling it as bad and wrong to experience, it's actually has become this portal in to something deeper, that something's going on inside of me that I need to look at, so I don't deny it anymore or shame myself for experiencing that, because, and in particularly as women, it's not a typical emotion that we are allowed to have. And I will just say it is an acceptable emotion for men to have, but not for women. And we've been socialized, or I feel I have been, why are you angry? Don't be angry. You shouldn't be angry. And honestly, it's a human emotion, and it's part of the human experience. So to not be able to examine that or feel that authentically, I think is a disservice.
You commented on how we're not taught that in society. So how would you encourage to motivate someone to cultivate the tools to be able to acknowledge and respond proactively to their experience, the anger? So personally, what tools did you cultivate when you were trying to become aware of the anger that she imposed that you had?
Talking about things rationally is what works for me.
Because
about breathing techniques.
breathing. If really,
What tools you utilize too? Say, for example, you have an argument. You step outside,
yeah.
take a break.
What I find is that I start physically when I'm angry or upset. Everything starts lifting and closing in here, throat chakra and heart chakra. And if I take a big breath and I close my eyes and use my exhale, and I imagine that it's honey coming down from the top of my head. When I exhale, honey, 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 relaxing through all of my muscles to allow me to breathe deeper. Because when I get angry, it's like I can't breathe deeply. It's all shallow here, and everything gets tight. So if I use that technique of that one big ass exhale, drawn out exhale, and move from the top of my head all the way down through my core, that's when I can let it go.
Just like deal with it within.
Yeah.
I'm just like really, really in touch with reality. So I kind of like know like if it's chopped up as a loss cause or if it's worth sorting out.
I really try to think through my emotions, and as I think through them, I feel them, and therefore, as I feel them, I experience them. And I truly believe that once I think through how I'm really feeling about something, I can express myself in the most efficient way.
I just gotta take a second where I'm just sitting there like
To breathe.
I'm like,
Yeah.
all right. I'm like, you know what? I'm above what I'm about to do, so I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah.
But it crossed my mind, so don't y'all forget. But
Like, how's it feel like
Yeah.
when you're like okay, I'm present again, like I'm over the anger shit. It's like you.
yeah, it's almost worth going through the anger
Yeah.
whenever you're like above the anger, because it's a higher presence than just not having dealt with anything at all.
Yeah.
One thing that I do is I try to put myself in the other person's shoes. They may have crossed me, disrespected me, or whatever, but I gotta remember that it may not just be that they're just coming at me because it's me. I don't have to take it so personally.
Yeah.
And it may be like a personal thing, but it also may not. Maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe their mom has cancer and they don't know how they're dealing with their emotions, and it's coming out like on me because they know that they just don't know where to let that go. And so sometimes they may take it off on someone else. It may not be me. It may not be their disposition. They may not be a bad person. They may just be going through a bad situation.
I like to talk about it. I like to talk about it with my family, for
So
sure.
yeah, so whenever you do experience this today, since you got proactive ways,
Yeah.
who is the first person you can go talk to?
My mama.
Why? It's because you can create, you value how she tells you how to cope with it or deal with it, or that's the person that you know that's listening more than anybody.
She's definitely the one that's listening more than anybody. I feel like with my mom, there's no agenda behind it.
Yeah,
ever.
yeah.
I can, trust her completely, and she's gonna tell me when I'm wilding.
Yeah.
And she's gonna tell me when I'm right.
Yeah.
So there is a Buddhist practice called compassionate abiding, and I took it in as much as I could. I then felt it expand in my heart, and that became the transformation of the energy of actually moving from the guts, that very primal feeling, into this space of like, oh, I kind of get why that happened. And it's really okay. We're all doing the best that we can. I am, they are, and no problem. Like, all is forgiven, And so I think the first step is really acknowledging this is how I feel. I mean, I can't, it's almost an unstoppable force. And to pretend like I don't feel this way, or pretend that I shouldn't feel this way, is actually a suppression and a denial of something that actually needs to happen. And so when you have force against another force, it creates tension. And if we just experience, the emotion. And anger is very quick. I think when it gets really pathologic is when it turns to resentment, and even these small irritations. That means the anger is held in. And usually emotions just are quick. They just come in and go out. And that's kind of where I'm trying to get to the process of like, oh, I experience it and let it go. And the letting go is to not make a story around it. It doesn't mean I'm bad, doesn't mean they're bad, it doesn't mean I'm wrong or they're wrong, it just is. So cultivating, if you ask me about processes or tools that I use, it's really about this letting go and not hanging on and making stories around it, because when we do hold on to things, it gets really unhealthy, and if I'm to stay in integrity and practice what I preach, those are the kinds of things that I have to practice as well. And man, it's hard. It's hard. And it is my tendency to take somebody's head off or bite it off in a way.
In conclusion, so all the more, would it be to greet the trauma, the anger that comes from the trauma, with love instead of responding with anger? So in conclusion,
no, not in the moment. The anger is the anger, and if it can turn into love, that's what I can choose.
Yes.
But in the moment, the anger is the anger. I'm not going to try to make it love, because it's not love in the moment. And that's the process. That's the alchemy. That's the transformation. There's a space in between the anger and the love that actually needs to happen. There's that gap of the and whatever it is, it could be the acknowledging of it, it could be the thinking about it, it could be the hold on, I need to process this kind of thing, which can take however long for any individual. But to skip from anger to love, I think it's I don't know how that's really possible without the space in between.
So to end this, could you give 2 healthy hobbies in order to help someone mentally stimulate, themselves, such as things like yoga, anything else?
Yes. So they seem opposite, but they're actually both needed. One is quiet and stillness, and the other is movement. And I think that gets the energy. So for me, it's if I'm feeling anger, I need a very active practice to move it, to help move it out of me. The other thing is to help get other people to help me move my energy out, right? So both of those, I think, are the stillness of being with it, and then the action of letting it go.